everybody, I am Adam, and we are here for more of the reading of internet's shit. Today we are going to be taking a break from Sonic High School because I figured just uploading Sonic High School wouldn't exactly be the best thing in the world for everyone, including myself. So, today we are going to read one called Unchaste. Unchaste? I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's a Cars fanfiction. There's a warning here. It says, warning, this fic contains highly suggestive material and is not intended for a younger youth audience. Well, let's go ahead and do it then, right? Sally gazed out dreamily at the night sky. A thin blanket of stars attempted to peek out against the city lights. It was late, but she still had every ounce of energy, too much to sleep. Her first mini vacation with Lightning in Motor City, she didn't want it to end. She pressed a button and the long curtains were closed by an automated system. Turning around, she could see Lightning across the room, examining the door. She caressed every inch of his slick red body with her eyes and bit her lip. A wild urge was gripping her heart, one she fought to restrain. But the anticipation was beginning to spill over and nearly getting the best of her. There was no denying it, though. Lightning was attractive, the hottest car she'd ever met. The curves of his body were so smooth, unlike anything she'd ever seen. He was eye-pleasing in every way, and sexually appealing too. That was nothing new. There was a flip side to it, though. Could he be eye-appealing? Well, yes, he had that down. But could he be sexually pleasing? That was the question that kept her up all night. But not literally. "Hey, Stickers, what are you looking at?" she called out with curiosity. He spun around to face her and grinned cheekily. "They left a do not disturb sign for us. Want me to put it out?" I can't do a Lightning McQueen voice, I'm sorry. She laughed lightly. "Is that all you think about?" He smiled devilishly and turned a dial to dim the lights overhead. He kissed her briefly and replied, "That and you. Put it all together and I bet you get one hell of a hot mess." Sally's mouth popped open with surprise. It was the dirtiest thing she'd ever heard him say, yet she smiled in spite of her shock. How could she not love hearing him spew such provocative statements? She quickly disguised her crumbling composure and shot back, "You kiss your mother with those lips?" Their voices are going to change somewhat drastically between Gross Hillbilly, because I can only really do one Gross Hillbilly voice, but it just kind of goes back and forth, you know what I'm saying? Where was I? Lightning stared at her, completely unfazed by the brash question. He tried to contain his excitement at her reaction instead. Her eyes were darting around, unable to maintain steady contact with him. At last, he was driving a wedge into the steel cage of her modesty. Sally was such a classy, well-behaved girl, but with a voluptuous body like hers, he had the idea she knew more than one use for a mistress. And he had a feeling that pinstriping tattoo wasn't a symbol of innocence. He chuckled at her desperate attempt to escape the mood he was setting. "No, I don't actually, but I can kiss you with these filthy lips whenever you like." She gasped at his words, but felt her heart rate jump dramatically. She watched him drive around to her rear as he made a point to brush against her side. Such a light touch sent chills through her body, and she tensed with thrill. Then she felt his front tires begin massaging the upper part of her backside. She didn't know what he was planning, but she let herself relax with the smoothing motion. Suddenly he stopped and pressed his lips gently below her tattoo. Still, she didn't say a word. She could have told him to stop, but the craving of his next action was too strong. She was acutely aware of his kisses landing lower and lower down her body. When he reached her bumper, he hesitated. Her heart practically froze inside of her like he was controlling its every beat. He let his tongue follow the edge of her bumper, and her heart resumed thundering. After he ran its full length, he paused to hear any protest from her. By now there was an audible purring resounding from her engine, and he smiled with satisfaction. He wanted all of her tonight, and he was going to get it. Sally shrieked with pleasure as he grazed her undercarriage. With every passing second, he seemed to reach further towards her most personal parts. "Stickers!" she cried out. "Come here!" Lightning stopped abruptly and drove back around to see her hood on. What? Lightning stopped abruptly and drove back around to see her hood on. He was certain he'd What the fuck? He was certain he'd been about to throw her over the edge. "What is it?" he asked with his voice still low and seductive. He wasn't giving up that easy. He wanted it all or nothing. She stated firmly, "Are you sure?" "Name her Sally," Lightning exclaimed and cut her short of speech. "I've been sweet-talking you enough. Won't you let me make love to you already? I've got a half a mind to chase you onto that bed and give you all night." "Hell yeah, I'm sure I want to do this. I love you, and I just want you." She blinked thoughtfully and considered his response. He could have any girl in the world, and all he wanted was her. He loved her, and she loved him. He wasn't going to try to take advantage of her. No, he simply wanted a night to remember. Well, she'd give him one. By God, he could have anybody he wanted, but she's a Porsche. And who doesn't want a Porsche, you know what I'm saying? I digress. Her windshield closed Wait, what the fuck? Her windshield closed slightly, and she put on her best bedroom eyes, smoky and sultry. They sent a grin across his lips. "Well, I'll tell you something. I ain't your high school first year one night stand or any kind of groupie. You want to show me a good time? Huh?" He dropped his gaze to match hers, then answered in a whisper. "I'm Lightning McQueen. I can handle anything. What about you?" A sly smile swept onto her bumper. "You're in for it now." She flew forward and kissed him roughly. Lightning's mind quivered with happiness while her tongue boldly explored his mouth. She worked his lips like it was her day job. Not a single space went unfilled. He tried to keep with her powerful kissing, but found himself in a losing battle. His body unconsciously rolled backwards, but she never ceased holding contact with him. He felt his rear end meet the wall and let out a low moan. She was only kissing him, and yet it was already better than anything he'd ever experienced. "Sally!" he managed to gasp after a minute or so. She pulled away and laughed softly at his expression. "You're looking hot and bothered." "Yeah, but you aren't. Turn out the lights. You can't see the best things," he retorted seductively. She crossed the room to the light switch, and the room fell to blackness. Meanwhile, Lightning fumbled with the stereo and selected a track of music. He wanted something to amp up the adrenaline and leave an imprint on his mind of this night. He roamed to the bedside and called out to her. The notes of an electric guitar and the steady beat of a drum ran out into the room. Sally rolled her tongue and followed the music closer to the bed. "You like this song?" Lightning asked her as the opening lyrics poured out. Sally's look turned mischievous as she told him, "I might like it better after tonight." "Oh, you'll love it." His voice came unexpectedly and raspy from behind her. Her heart leapt inside of her as her body furiously began to tingle. She felt him nuzzle her rear as he coaxed her onto the bed. Once on the mattress, he nudged her right side and gently helped her flip onto her roof. Her tank somersaulted and her body grew tense with anticipation. Then, in an instant, she was overcome with a new wave of feeling. Her body swelled with ecstasy, and she gave a sound of appreciation. She burrowed her windshield deeper into the pillows as Lightning positioned himself with harder pressure against her underside. She let another sigh float from her lips. Lightning smirked with delight. Lightning smirked with delight. I got ahead of myself on that one. "Impressed?" he offered in a low, purring tone. She mumbled through heavy breathing. "Yeah." Lightning's smile grew further, and he moved with the music, sending out the occasional rev of his engine. Sally whimpered at the intense jolts of vibration sent through her body. It was sheer horsepower that shook her, and each time she thought it couldn't get any more powerful, he revved his engine stronger and drove her to higher bliss. Indescribable sounds seeped sporadically from Lightning's mouths. The grinding metal between their bodies lit tiny sparks from the friction. His undercarriage grew hot and filled his entire body with warmth. The chords of electric guitar... oh, fuck. The chords of electric guitar streaked out into the room, covering his noise. Holy Porsche, don't let this end, his mind pleaded against his burning heart. He was being entangled by the best sexual sensations of his life. He felt like he was on fire from bumper to bumper, and there was nobody who knew just how amazing this moment was. Except Sally. He fell flat to his tires and panted with exhaustion, letting his body cool. Sally moaned his name one last time and then muttered a jumble of explicits, none of which could be heard over the drowning music. At last, the song drew closed and the room was eerily quiet. Lightning carefully helped Sally back onto her tires and rested against her, nuzzling her fender all the while. Sally caught her breath and finally exclaimed, "Ka-chow!" "Ka-chow!" Lightning laughed deeply. "Maybe we should do this more often." There was a short pause, and then she responded daringly, "That may not be young, but we damn well are." Pleasantly surprised by her answer, he gazed eagerly into her love-drunk eyes. Something told him he wasn't going to get to play driver this time around. He didn't hesitate to reply, "I'll go find that sign." Oh my god. That was, really something, I tell you. I just want to go back to the thing I said at the beginning. Warning, this fic contains highly suggestive material. No, it didn't. It was two cars grinding against each other. That was literally all it was. But let's go ahead and look at some reviews. The first one, well, no, the second one, because the first one doesn't make any goddamn sense, is from Guest. "This fanfiction was so hot. Seriously the best thing I've ever read. Lightning is my daddy, and Sally is my mommy. Any part 2? I'll definitely keep looking forward to your future stories." Let's see, what's another one? Boost the Neon Race Cars said, "What the hell? Okay, it's a good written story, but still, WTH?" And then we'll read one more. Luna the Prius. This one's a bit longer, so let's go ahead and read it then. "Everything was excellent, and I commend you for your time and effort. I also have a reasonable tip for another fanfiction. I noticed that you didn't mention anything about, well, the technical aspect of McQueen and Sally having sex, or in other words, for example, McQueen slammed his dick into her type stuff, and whenever I read words like that, it gets me all fired up. And so I believe if you wrote more things like mentioned above, certain people, like me, would be a bit more impressed. Or in other words, your fanfic would be more intense. I hope you write more soon. I would love to hear more." Can I just go ahead and critique this review, please? Cars don't have wieners, so how would he slam his pee-pee into her vagoo? Tell me, please. But anyway, let me just slam my phone on the desk. I am going to go ahead and talk to you guys later. It's not quite as long as the last one. I hope you guys can forgive me for that one, but couldn't really help it because I for one wasn't in the mood to read Sonic High School today, and also I feel like reading them, like I said, reading them all at once isn't the best. But go ahead and follow me on Twitter because I love it. I love Twitter. I'm over there all the time. But yeah, I will talk to you guys later. Goodbye.